Like it's amazing how much time you find when you really figure something out. And I mean, I'm not saying that we're there yet, but I think we're starting to make strides.
Yeah.
I mean, like if the Pikes Peak car would have done a 155, it would have been what, in the top 5 cars of that NASA weekend.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, there was a 149 car, but after that, it was 54s, 53s at best.
Yeah.
So,
and honestly,
well,
like
Civic did a 52, right?
it did a 53. It did it on Sunday, though. He was doing
gotcha.
55s before that.
Well, and it's like as you figure stuff out, like, okay, we've got the suspension working, the tires are working, or you're moving in the right direction. Like that car, like way back when we were talking about, okay, how fast does that car need to be able to lap High Plains to think that we really have a competitive car for like podiuming in our class at Pikes Peak? And pretty much the number that we came up with was about 1:45. And at that point, we were doing a 2-minute in the car, and it's like 15 seconds. I mean, there's just no way. There's just no way. I mean, we have to double the power and take 500 pounds out of the car at minimum before we could even think about getting to a 1:45 lap. And we're still a ways away from that. But all of a sudden, like that 1:45, it doesn't seem crazy anymore.
Right.
We've added a little bit of power, but not much. We've really improved the handling and the braking, and all of a sudden, like, it feels like 53s, 52s are within striking distance.
Yeah.
Like that's something that, like, on the right day, right conditions, better suspension setup, that's doable now. And all of a sudden, like,
and that's
up.
Still 7 or 8 seconds away from what this car would have to do to be like a winning time at Pikes Peak.
Yeah, but I mean, you look at the cars that are winning that time attack class, and they're not. I mean, look at Boyd's car, for example. I mean, that car is so far away from a bolt-on car. I mean, it's a sequential transmission, a lot of custom aero. I mean,
right.
even if that car is running like 48s or whatever at High Plains, and we're running 53s, like, you look at how much, like, there's a huge jump between your guys' car and that Boyd Evo right now. It's a huge jump. It's not like a little jump. It's not like when you see, like, all right, well, we're like 7 seconds away from it, and then you look down the line and see what 7 seconds looks like. You're like, oh, well, yeah, I mean, it kind of looks like 7 seconds at least,
Yeah.
But instead, I mean, to put that into comparison, it's kind of fun to take a car that you were doing 2 minutes, and now things are getting cleaned up. Things are starting to make sense. We're learning so much. We're all working together, kind of like as a Subaru co-op, to try and make everything faster collectively. And now, like, when you looked at 15 seconds, 7 seconds and 15 seconds still look the same on the other end. It's just we're getting our car, your car, so much closer without making crazy changes.
But here's the difference. It's the not making crazy changes. That's why all of a sudden a 45 seems like it's attainable. Because you said, all right, well, we're about 200 horsepower down on him.
Yeah.
And we could add 200 horsepower. I mean, it's not a mystery. There's a lot of prescribed paths to add 200 horsepower to the car. Haven't done it yet, but hey, look at how much closer we've gotten without doing that. Would we pick up time if we added 200 horsepower? Yeah. He's got a sequential. Like, that's totally doable. It's expensive, but it's totally doable, but we haven't done it yet. Could we pick up time if we added a sequential? Yeah. So it's like the more that you can refine the package and get the car to work better and work better and drop those times, and know that you still have these 2 things that are there.
We have 3 things because there's aero.
Aero, yes, true.
Yeah, you got much more aggressive aero.
Big aero package on there.
Yeah. And that's harder ish. I mean, there's definitely people that we could work with to help really improve the aero package of the car. The classing at Pikes Peak makes it a little bit tricky, but again, like, there's those 3 pieces of the puzzle we haven't really even started to exploit yet, and we've gotten the car to be this much quicker by improving the system already. And so then that places us so that when we do bring those things in, we're really going to get the maximum impact for it.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. And I think there's probably a lot of like a lot of competitive cars, and I know the Professional Awesome guys kind of talked about it, that haven't really optimized those things yet. I mean, just even my blue car, not that my blue car is like a Boyd Evo or anything like that, but even my blue car, the way it was set up when I took it to the Nationals and stuff, it was so far away from being optimized. And I knew it wasn't where I needed to be, but now I'm realizing like how big the gap really was, how big the gap really is. And which is exciting because there's a ton of competitive cars out there, well, that are putting out competitive times, we'll just say, regardless of how they're doing it with money or with power or with driver development or whatever, that aren't working on like all these small little things, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and what we're really seeing is like Scotty kind of forged down that trail with the stuff that he figured out with his car, and now we've gone down the same trail with the Pikes Peak car, and just tweaking the power a little bit, nothing crazy, but just a tweak to the power, and following a lot of the similar plans as far as like suspension and grip and all that sort of stuff, and it's giving shaving off huge amounts of time. They would, it's like you figure you're going to be looking for a tenth or two, and now we've just wiped 5 seconds off. I mean, that's an eternity. That's massive, and it's all through like figuring out these fine details and knowing that there's still more there. That's what's crazy.